to the Cheesy Sasquatch. Kind of sticking with the NFL for this one, with the off-season workout programs in full swing here for a lot of teams. OTAs, mandatory mini camp at the beginning and end of this month. Every team's schedule is different. I won't be jumping into every team. Kind of the two main teams I'm going to be focusing on here are the Seahawks and the Packers. Starting off with the Packers here, I'm going to be kind of going through the position groups of each of these teams, kind of laying out who is currently the top in that position group, what it's kind of going to look like shuffling underneath them, some guys who have to prove themselves to stay on the roster, some people who are kind of automatic locks, and just kind of, I guess, kind of giving an overall grade for each position as we go through them here. So for this video, starting off in the quarterback room for the Packers, not a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, there's a little bit of off-season drama, not nearly as much as last year. Really, the drama was around Rodgers getting another contract. It was initially leaked that it was going to be a 4-year, $200 million contract, putting him at about $50 million a year. That ended up being false. It ended up being a 3-year, closer to $140, $150 million deal. Still making him the highest paid quarterback, but didn't necessarily break the team's bank like it was initially reported. So obviously great to get Rodgers back. The biggest concern for the Packers this past off season was keeping Rodgers and Adams. Obviously, it's hard to keep the arguably number one quarterback and arguably number one receiver on the same team when it comes time for both to get paid. So I'll kind of get to the receiver group in another episode, but again, sticking with quarterbacks here, 4 on the roster. You got Rodgers, Love is still the backup, and then Kurt Benkert is kind of in that third spot. He got to dress for a game or two, I think, with Love being out for an injury or COVID. I can't remember which one it was. And then the practice squad quarterback right now is Danny Etling. So 4 quarterbacks on the roster. I'm expecting it to kind of stay that way. Maybe Etling gets cut, and then Benkert becomes the practice squad quarterback. But also, it seems like he's kind of in that in-between point where he's not bad enough to, well, I shouldn't say bad enough. He's not low enough on the totem pole to where he deserves to only be on the practice squad. But obviously, he still has some more to prove to kind of be that penciled in backup for Rodgers. So not expecting a whole lot for OTAs, training camp, and all that out of the quarterback room. I know Jordan Love talked a few days ago about being excited once again with Rodgers not participating in these OTAs, that he's getting this QB1 reps. Obviously, some very high value reps for him to kind of build up his stock to where maybe if Rodgers is going to stay for another 3 to 5 years, whatever that window looks like, Love isn't going to want to stick around that long. He's going to want an opportunity elsewhere. So this is kind of his opportunity to say to the rest of the league, hey, if you're looking for a starter or a better number 2, to where he might get a better opportunity where he's sitting behind a guy who is struggling, where he might get a middle of the season starts if that team isn't doing well, or a guy that's at the end of his career, or it's going to happen no matter what. It's just a matter of if it happens to your team or not. A QB1 goes down at some point in the year, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, the rest of the season, kind of like a situation that happened in New Orleans last year with Jameis Winston going down. So, yeah, not a whole lot to talk about this quarterback room for the Packers. I mean, I'd give it an A. I mean, I'm probably not going to go through and give a letter grade of every single group here. Maybe I will, but I guess if I were to give the Packers a letter grade for that QB room, I would give it an A, maybe an A minus as a whole, just because obviously Rodgers is kind of 90-95% of that grade, to where he goes down and that quarterback rating drops to probably a C minus. without Rodgers in there. So long as they can keep Rodgers there, obviously he kind of holds up his end of the bargain. I know last year ended in a bad way, kind of with special teams being the Achilles heel for that Packers down the stretch, that Packers team down the stretch. So hopefully defense is rolling again, offense is rolling again, special teams gets cleaned up, and they try to get right back to where they were and make it the distance this time. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. Check out my other videos as well. Again, I'm going to be going through uh, all the position groups here. Once I get to the defense, I'll probably do the secondary as one group. I won't break it up to strong safety, free safety, cornerback, things like that. I'll probably just do the whole secondary as its own group. But yeah, I'll be going through the Packers here, and then sprinkling the Seahawks now and then, and kind of alternating, going between the position groups between each team. So appreciate you listening. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, hit the button down in the corner, like the video, drop in the comments what you think about the quarterback room for the Packers this year, even just the Packers as a whole. Appreciate all the comments, love interacting with you guys, so be sure to drop those in there. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.